Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be tracking Invest 97L, 98L, and also 99L. Pretty much most of this video is going to be about 99L, which is currently in the southern part of the Caribbean. We also got this system here. Well, not really watching these two because most of these two here is looking to be a fish storm, and no threat to the United States are expected from these for now. But the main focus on this video today is really going to be MS99L, which is going to be, there are going to be some big concerns with this system here. So let's kind of check this out here from the National Hurricane Center. So you got what's going on here. You got a broad low pressure system here. It's got a lot of convection around the system here. This could develop to something later on this week here, at least a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm as well. But afterwards, could be very interesting. Right now, formation in the next 48 hours is a 40% chance. In the next 5 days is a 80% chance, which is a high chance. Don't be surprised if these percentages go up over the next several days here. Eventually, it'll develop to something later this week. So let's check out the hurricane models for MS99L, and then again, here's infrared satellite. There's not really a clear circulation here right now since it's just a broad low, but it is really going to depend on where that low level circulation is going to develop. Where that low level circulation is going to develop, that's where you're going to have your main circulation is going to be. But right now, around this broad low pressure system, there's a lot of convection out there. So you got that. It's just got to be a little bit more organized here to something, at least. The tracks of the hurricane models right now, at the time I make this video, we do not have all the models in here as of right now, but you do have some of them out there. You got a couple miles to bring it to Mexico, and then you got a couple that go for between Mexico and Cuba, which both of those take it up to Southwest Louisiana and southeastern Texas. This would be the worst case scenario type. If it's going to go a little further north, if that low level circulation develops a little further north, the track will be further north. And this is where kind of these two models here are kind of showing here. If it if it goes in between Mexico and Cuba, that could lead to a stronger system. But if it goes for Cuba, I meant not Cuba, Mexico, the Yucatan area, it'll be a weaker system. But right now, the trends right now, at least from the global models, are looking to be somewhere in between Mexico and Cuba, which would be your worst case scenario type of situation. So that's the hurricane models. Let's check out the GFS ensembles here. So this is on its latest update here to 12Z, and you can see here, the models are all over the place right now, but you do see several of your members, so you see where they kind of go. You got one that goes to Louisiana, you got several that go into southeastern Texas, there's even one that goes into the Florida Panhandle. What do all these have in common? A strong system. You got one that's between 960 and 970 millibars. You got one that's between 950 and 940 millibars. Another one with 960 and 970 millibars. And then you got ones out here that are about tropical storm strength. So yeah, this is going to be a system to watch for because all these members here show at least a strong tropical cyclone here. And that's something we need to watch for. Now this will probably over the next several updates here, hopefully we can get a better agreement here from the GFS ensembles. Meanwhile, for the GFS parallel ensembles, they're not really in range with it yet, not showing much of anything, but I'm sure that'll change over the next several updates. But here's the intensity guidance from the hurricane models, and you can see here, the majority of the models that keep it a tropical storm, at least most of them do, but you do have a couple that do bring it into a hurricane. One of them brings it to a major hurricane. I think that's possible with this system here. Even a major hurricane will be possible with this system here. Let me show you guys a few more things. This is your sea surface temperatures. The warmest sea surface temperatures right now is off the coast of Louisiana. They're dealing with some extreme heat over there right now. You got sea surface temperatures 31 to 32 degrees Celsius. That's bath water pretty much. Pretty much the entire Gulf of Mexico is like bath water. Widespread 29 to 31 degrees Celsius waters. So that's pretty warm. But really, all you really need for tropical system development here is really like 27, 28. That would be favorable for tropical systems. No, we're talking about 31, 30 to 32 across a decent chunk of the Gulf of Mexico. So that's going to be very concerning here with this system here, especially if it's going to go in between Cuba and Mexico, where it can be a stronger system, which is looking to be the current trend right now, fortunately. Here's your ocean heat content here. And some of your greatest ocean heat content, you got one spot in the Gulf of Mexico, then you got this larger area in the Caribbean. And this is where the system will be going to, is some of these places in here. So that's also not a really good sign. So where you kind of get here, this is from Michael for Gameo, stuff like that. I do apologize if I do not pronounce your last name correctly. But he showed this on Twitter, which I find is very interesting. So this, I believe this is with the sea surface temperatures here. So this is the potential minimum central pressure here. And you do see here, the sea surface temperatures is favorable for tropical systems to have a pressure of under 880 millibars. That's equivalent to a Category 5 hurricane, guys. That's pretty insane here. Now, if you look into potential maximum winds in knots, it's basically the same thing. Pretty much the entire Gulf of Mexico here, with those warmer sea surface temperatures, it is favorable for a Category 5 hurricane. Even for some spots could be as high as 165 knots or more. So that's not really a good sign here. So those sea surface temperatures will be favorable for a major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, basically. And it could be a catastrophic one, too. But there will be some limiting factors out there. Keep in mind that. First of all, like, right now it's a broad low pressure system. And typically with broad low pressure systems, they can't really intensify that quick. So the rapid intensification is not really likely with a broad low pressure system. Now, if it kept a broad throughout most of its lifetime span till it makes landfall in the United States, it probably won't be a Category 5 hurricane or even a major hurricane because it's really tough to intensify with a broad low pressure system. Now, if it had a tighter circulation or something like that, that'd be a different story. You could get a very strong system out of it. But keep in mind, these are just for sea surface temperatures, but this just tells you that the sea surface temperatures is favorable for a major system in the Gulf of Mexico. That's basically what this is all saying here for sea surface temperatures. Here's the GFS model here, and looks like there's going to be quite a bit of wind shear around here, but some of those winds will probably kind of work with this low pressure system, so that might not matter too much with the system here, but some wind shear will be possible with this system. But that wind shear starts to decrease as you kind of get into the Gulf of Mexico here, which is kind of a concern here. You can see some of those reds are starting to go away. It's now a little bit more yellow in places, and there's places where there's like no wind shear. If that's going to be the case, yeah, that's a green light for possibly rapid intensification. What's also not good news is the fact there's not any dry air in the Gulf of Mexico at this point. So really, there's not a whole lot really slowing down this thing. So what does the GFS say? Well, watch this. As it gets closer to Louisiana and Texas, you also see here wind shear does start to increase over land, but it's not really over the water, so it's just not good. It kind of slows down. At this point here, it's rapidly intensifying. It's down to 958 millibars. Before landfall, it's at lows as 300, at 935 millibars. That would be a Category 5 hurricane, folks. And that would be catastrophic if the GFS were to be correct. You can see how it makes landfall. What's also to make things worse is that the fact it even shows it becoming stationary in northern Louisiana and southern Arkansas. If that's the case, you could possibly see significant flooding on top of that, which will look into those rainfall totals in a moment. Let's actually look at this first. So here's the European model with this. So your broad low pressure system is down here, and it's really got to depend on where this low level circulation is going to try to develop. If it's going to be further north, that could lead to a system that could move a little further north. It may miss Mexico and Cuba. Now, if it develops further south, it could go for Mexico, which can lead to a weaker system. But it does seem like either way afterwards, if it keep it organized, it can rapidly intensify. So watch this. So this is getting to Saturday night here for this weekend. You do have this tropical system moving into the Gulf of Mexico. If you go to 3 o'clock here, it starts to intensify here. Not necessarily a rapidly intensifying system here. Here's the sustained winds. And the European model is typically underdone with the intensity with these storms. It's always been that way. So I'll take this intensity as a grain of salt, but 44-mile-per-hour winds, you do see here, it does intensify a little bit more before landfall. Pretty much a mid-tropical storm. However, those wind gusts could be close to hurricane force. So pretty much it's a tropical storm indicated by the European model. But you also notice here, there's a lot of rain around the system here. Which is also going to be the next concern with the system here is that there could be this can be a big rain producer. I mean, check out that rain around the northern side of the system here. I mean, that's at least 3 inches per hour rates. I think that's what that is, if I'm correct. Well, 2 inches rain per 3 hours of rainfall rates. And there's going to be a cold front just to the north here. If this tropical system can snag onto that cold front, it'll ride along that front there to north here, and that can at least not make it stall out in Arkansas or Louisiana. You did see here, it does try to stall out in the Tennessee Valley, which is something we do not want because if you guys haven't heard already, just west of Nashville, they got hit hard by a catastrophic flooding event over there. Just not was not a great situation. But you do see here with the rainfall totals from the European model, you got a widespread 5 to 8 inches of rain. Some places it's over 8 inches of rain, like in northwestern Tennessee. Well, there was an 8-inch mark over there. And some of those numbers do expand as far north as southern Kentucky and northern Tennessee. So this is definitely a system we need to monitor here. And here's the GFS thoughts here, and this is what happens when it stalls out. You start to see some of these significant rainfall amounts. I mean, check that out. That's about 20 inches of rain the GFS model is picking on just in the next 10 days here. But even for like 6 to 8 inches of rain, that's also a significant amount of rain as well. And you're talking about rainfall totals close to 20 inches. That could be catastrophic for some areas with that much rainfall. And on top of that, you can get some very strong winds out of it as well. Let's kind of back this up here. You can see here, this could be a pretty large tropical system here. Here's the wind gust for the GFS. It does show wind gusts as high as probably close to 90 miles an hour, but this will be a hurricane at this point as well. With that pressure being so low, I'll say it'd be a hurricane at that point. And then, like I said again, it's going to be producing a lot of rain. So here's the icon model's thoughts on here. And you can see here, it also takes us to a further northern track. So really, all these models in common here take it between Mexico and Cuba, which would be your worst case scenario. And as it moves to the Gulf of Mexico, especially in the central Gulf, it starts to rapidly intensify. And you do see here from the icon model, it can get as low as 962 millibars before it makes landfall. But you also notice here it's kind of similar to GFS, but a little further north. It starts to stall out in southern Arkansas. So you got a better hope that that cold front, this low pressure system, will be able to catch on with this cold front that'll be just to the northeast in the Ohio Valley region. If it can snag onto that cold front, it'll be able to move out of the way to northeast. But that won't be such good news for areas a little further north. Just like the Euro show, could be a lot of rain for areas in the lower Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley. So that's something we need to watch for as well. We could quickly check out the Canadian model. You do see here, it also shows a hurricane making landfall. And these here are pretty much in the very similar area here. It's kind of bullseying southwestern Louisiana or southeastern Texas, which I know those areas got hit really hard by last hurricane season, especially for the Lake Charles area. And these global models are showing what could be some major impacts there. It's also showing another system coming right behind it. We'll see if it continues with that trend. But you do see here, you do see some of its remains could be multiple rounds of heavy rain across the lower Ohio Valley region as well. And we'll see how much rainfall the Canadian model has to say. It's actually not working. I actually forgot about that. We could quickly check out the here on Pitiful Weather very quickly here. So very quickly, they are having some trouble on here with loading data, which is not good. And let's check out those rainfall totals very quickly from the Canadian model. Yeah, I forgot it doesn't, for some reason it's not working on tropical tidbits. But check out all that rain though. That's a significant amount of rain. That's 18 inches of rain, folks. And it seems like either way, even if it'll either be a stronger system or a weaker system, it's still going to produce a lot of rain. You do see here it shows a widespread, probably 5 to 8 inches of rain from Louisiana all the way up into parts of the lower Ohio Valley, which will continue to move up to the northeast here. Let's move up to the Ohio Valley and see what it's got up here for rainfall totals. So even if it moves up along that front, it may not stall out in Arkansas, but for areas further to the northeast could experience some significant rainfall. Like you can see right here. I mean, look at Kentucky here. A foot of rain from the Canadian model. That'd be pretty significant if that were to verify here. So even if it stalls out here, it'd be bad news for Arkansas. But if it continues to move up to the northeast, it'd be bad news for areas further to the northeast here, like the Canadian model and the European model show. That could be a little overdone with the Canadian model showing over a foot of rain in parts of Kentucky. But this is definitely a system we need to watch here over the next several days here. It's definitely going to be a very interesting system. Lastly, we'll check out the GFS ensembles here, and something you don't really see often from the GFS ensembles is the fact that they got a really good agreement here with 7+ inches of rain in the 7 to 10 day period. That's pretty rare from the GFS ensembles to agree like that far out. I mean, I think I've never seen it like that before. I'm sure it's happened before, but I'm sure this is very rare for the GFS ensembles to have an agreement here with the mean here out of 20 members. I think it is 20 members showing a mean of 7 to 8 inches of rain. That's pretty rare. Don't get me wrong. In fact, that's a pretty rare. But how about going to individual run? Could be a little bit worse. But you can also kind of tell where the tracks are going to be. So this is through September 2nd. You see here from most of these members here show a significant amount of rainfall, except for a couple here. But you kind of tell where the track is kind of taken to. Most models are bringing it to either southeastern Texas or southern Louisiana. And check out what mostly every single run shows. It's got areas that could see over a foot of rain. So even if the intensity won't be that bad, maybe it's just a hurricane or something like that, and maybe not a Category 5 hurricane, it will still produce a lot of rainfall either way. So not only you'll have to watch for the potential for some significant winds, but also a significant amount of rainfall. I don't think it will not matter too much on the intensity of how much rainfall this thing can produce. But man, it's definitely something we really need to watch for because this could become a significant event here. But time will tell on that. So here's my strength probabilities for Invest 99L. It's definitely going to become a tropical depression. Definitely a tropical storm. I think it will become a Category 1 hurricane. Probably Category 2 as well. You see how these percentages do decrease as you kind of get to the stronger categories. So Category 3, I'm giving a 40% chance. Now, if confidence increases, some of these percentages will start to increase here. If the trends do continue over the next several days, don't be surprised if these percentages do go up. But since we're still so far out, I'm keeping it low probabilities for now. Category 4 hurricane, a 10%. Then a Category 5 hurricane, a very low 5% chance. So the chances are very low right now since we're still far out. But if the trends do continue to that type of strength, don't be surprised if these percentages again go up. So Invest 99L, this is definitely something we need to watch here over the next several days here. So really anybody in the Gulf of Mexico definitely needs to watch for this system here over the next several days. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you really like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, leave it in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.